Good evening, everybody. Great to see such a nice turnout here. I want to thank you all for being here. We decided to do a number of swearing-ins, no swearing-ats, a number of swearing-ins simultaneously, and I want to thank you all for coming out, especially since we are in the middle of summer, quite really in the middle of it, aren't we? And there's lots of other things that people could be doing. We have 14 people who were to be sworn in, and we thought that 12 would be here, and guess how many are here? There are 12. So we're excited about that. We got folks who are going to be sworn into the Public Service Commission, and we have a couple of folks who are two out of the three. We only have 3 members, right? And we will have a full complement after tonight. Betty Ann Kane and Willie Phillips. The Public Service Commission regulates and monitors our utilities. I was reading a couple of things that I didn't know myself. Of course, we know about gas, we know about electric, we know about telecommunications. I didn't know that you all actually did sightseeing buses and tour boats. That was, how many of you all knew that? Yeah. And anybody that raises, yeah, Daryl, you better know, Daryl. I was going to say, anybody that raises their hand, and that we're going to take you outside and try to straighten you up in terms of your truth-telling. So we're excited about that. The Public Charter School Board, we have a swearing in. We have a reappointment, Darren, tonight for that. And we're delighted to be able to have you doing that. The Public Charter School Board, for those who don't know, is responsible for overseeing a whole network of schools. Regulating, I guess, might be the best way to put it. You don't manage any of the schools, but regulating those schools and ensuring that they adhere to the highest levels of quality. What are there, about 60 charter schools now?
60, but it's over 100.
Yeah, campuses, right? Over 100 campuses. And we have, when you put the charter schools together with the traditional public schools, we now have well over 200 schools in the District of Columbia. And I was looking at the data today. We had this past year 83,000 students in public education. We're looking at the possibility of 86,000, which will be the largest number that we've had since somewhere around the early to mid-'80s in public education in the District of Columbia. And that is very exciting. We also have some folks here, some reappointments from the University of the District of Columbia. They have quite a challenge, and they are, I think, making real progress, and we're excited about that. I see Jim Dyke and Reggie Felton and Kendra Curry, who have worked hard at this, and we want to continue with the progress being made not only with the 4-year school, but also with the community college as well. The Housing Authority, we have our chair who's being reappointed. That's Pedro Alfonso. And I think you all have somewhere in the neighborhood, somewhere between 8,500 and 9,000 units across the city. And a lot of activity going on, including our continuing effort to try to get the new communities effort addressed and moving along. In fact, I have a meeting tomorrow on new communities, and I'm looking forward to that. Commission on Human Rights, which is responsible for many categories, looking at many categories to make sure that we have a level playing field in the city. It includes things like national origin, sex, age, marital status, personal appearance, sexual orientation, gender identity, disability, political affiliation, and a host of other things, including source of income. So they regulate a lot in the city and pay lots of attention to things that are important to making sure people are treated fairly in the District of Columbia. Our 6th board is the PERB, the Public Employees Relations Board. We have a person, Keith Washington, who is being installed tonight. And that is a very important board because it's responsible for being an impartial, kind of a quasi-judicial group in the city, looking at how decisions are made on both the management as well as the labor side. And then the Boxing and Wrestling Commission. That's a fun. How many of y'all been to any of our boxing matches recently in the city? We've had full house. We had last two at the Armory have been full, and then we had a championship match. Now it's been a couple of years, I guess, at the Convention Center, and that was when one of the Peterson brothers won a championship, and then he won another one, or retained his championship, I guess I should say, at the Armory. In any event, I want to thank you all for your willingness to serve. I want to, as I like to do, I like to recognize Darrell Gorman, who has done a terrific job of we had a meeting last week of the chairs of our boards and commissions, and, you know, being July, you don't know how many people are going to show up. We had a full house, right, Pedro? We were over at 441 4th Street at 1 Judiciary Square, and I guess there was somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 people who came out to that meeting. So those of you who were there, I want to thank you. And those of you who weren't there, where the heck were you? No, there are a number of people in this room who were there, several people. So thank you very much for doing that. In any event, we appreciate the work that Darrell has done. When we started this journey a while back, we had 900 vacancies in our boards and commissions, and we now are current. The boards, the vacancies that are being filled, either with reappointments or appointments, are current ones. We're not deep in the hole as we were back in those days. And Darrell, I want to thank you for the work that you've done to help us achieve what seemed like an almost insurmountable goal at the time that we started this journey. So I also want to acknowledge the presence of our Chief of Staff, who is here, Chris Murphy. Chris, thank you very much for coming down for this and all of your work. That boards and commissions, of course, is in your portfolio, like many, many other things. And I want to thank you, too, for your work in helping us being able to achieve what we've been able to achieve with this. You know, I don't need to say to you, I know you all know this, but frankly, boards and commissions are a great way for citizens to be involved, residents to be involved in the work of our government. We have, I don't know how many boards and commissions we have total, probably, what, 200, 175, something like that, 175, and there are somewhere around 2,000 plus slots. That's a lot of opportunities for people. And to have 900 vacancies means that we had a very substantial percentage of the opportunities not available to people because the appointments hadn't been made. So, with that having been said, I'm going to ask you all, let's start with the UDC. I'm going to do it all at one time, okay? Otherwise, you'll be listening to the same stuff 6 times. I'm not going to do that. From the Board of Trustees of the University of the District of Columbia, I ask you all to stand. Kendrick Curry, Jim Dyke, and Reggie Felton. From the Public Service Commission, Betty Ann Kane and Willie Phillips. From the Public Charter School Board, Darren Woodruff. From the Human Rights Commission, Alberto Figueroa Garcia, Michelle McLeod, and we have one member who's not able to be here tonight, Ali Muhammad, because he is on travel. Also from our D.C. Housing Authority, we have Pedro Alfonso, who is the chair, Shalor Fisher, who is a new appointee. Thank you very much for your willingness to serve. And Clarence Mobley, who is a reappointment, and Terry Thompson Mallett, who is the other of the 2 people who are on travel. And Brian Scotty Irving from the Boxing and Wrestling Commission. There he is back there. All right. I think I got everybody, didn't I? Okay. Would you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, and state your name, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the laws of the United States of America and the District of Columbia, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office which I am about to enter. Congratulations, everybody. I'm gonna pick out a couple of people and ask them to come up and say a few words. Let's see. How about we'll start with Pedro Alfonso. He is the chair of the Housing Authority. And then we've got Betty Ann Kane, who is the chair of the Public Service Commission. And maybe I'll get one more person. Let me look at the list and pick out a person. So come on up, Pedro.
Just say a few words. All right. Well, sir, first I would like to say that this is my second term as chair of the D.C. Housing Authority. It has been a pleasure and an absolutely honor to be serving in this administration. When you have a mayor who has committed over $100 million to affordable housing, it touches a lot of lives. It puts a real mark on a commitment to our communities. And so being a part of that whole process has been a pleasure for me and working for this particular mayor. So I look forward to a continued commitment along that end and working in, as far as I'm concerned, in this administration. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor.
Absolutely.
I didn't recognize our two board members and Commissioner Mobley, Commissioner Laura. That's a new commission. I look forward to working with you along that end. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for renominating me and giving me the opportunity to serve again at the Public Service Commission, and thank you in particular for nominating Willie Phillips, because we have gone 2.5 years with just 2 commissioners managing and making decisions on all the important work before us, and we're just delighted now to have a full complement. The Public Service Commission, as the mayor said, regulates gas, electric, telephone, and those tour boats, as long as they stay within the waters of the District of Columbia. Once they go down to Alexandria, then they're interstate, and we don't do them anymore. I also want to recognize I have with me my husband, Noel Kane, who's been with me for 49 years. And been very much a part of everything. I would be 36 years, not 36 years old, I wish I was, 36 years with D.C. government this fall. So, also my grandson, Lance Napier Kane, who's just back from 6 months in Ghana with American Field Service as an exchange student, and is going to summer school at Georgetown this summer. So, but it's interesting, we follow talking Pedro. Pedro and the Housing Commission is working very hard on that goal of affordable housing, on a decent place to live for every citizen, no matter what their income. And we are working at the Public Service Commission for that other component, for the utilities that go into that house, for the heat, the light, the gas, the communications, and a commitment also to making that affordable. And I also want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your leadership in putting together the Mayor's Powerline Underground Task Force. We will finish tomorrow 7 community hearings on the first triennial plan, the first 3 years of putting a significant additional portion of the power lines in the district underground and improving the reliability and we were able to do it in a way that's going to be affordable. So I look forward to 4 more years of working on these important issues and working with all of you, because every board and commission, I think, has got something that relates to another one, and having those quarterly meetings has been very, very useful. Thank you.
Well, let's pick a brand new person, okay? And all the brand new people probably just dropped their head and said, "No, not me, not me." How about Keith Washington? I thought Keith was here. Well, Willie, it's you.
I never wish that someone else was somewhere else as much as I do right now. Thank you so much, Mayor, for nominating me, and thank you for this opportunity. As my chair said, I am with the Public Service Commission, and I won't repeat again all that we do, but I will take this time to just recognize a few people. In particular, I want to recognize my wife, Gabrielle Mallory. I got to tell you, it has not been an easy road. I know I'm not an easy person to be married to, but throughout all the years, throughout all the times when I was at the law firm working those ridiculous hours, you never complained. You literally never once complained. And I think all of that effort, all of that time now has allowed me to be here at this position and to serve the people of the district, something that is a dream come true to me. So I thank you so much, so very much. I won't call everybody's name, but I also want to thank all of my folks that came here to support me, people who submitted comments on the record. I can't believe the nice things you said about me. But I do. Just wait. But I do appreciate it, and without saying too much, I just want to thank everybody. I look forward to working with you. I look forward to working with Chairman Kane, and thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
You know what? I'm going to do 2 more people since they're relatively brief anyway. I'm going to do both of them in the education arena. I'm going to do Darren Woodruff, who does such an extraordinary job working on behalf of our public charter school board. We have, I don't know, about 36,000 students in charter schools now, and it's growing. And in fact, we'll be announcing our test scores this week from the CAS. We will be, I guess it's Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Thursday, yeah. So that'll be good information. As long as we're not going backwards, that's the most important thing. And then let me see. I'm going to pick somebody from UDC. Jim, you were the chairperson at one point. So how about we have you come up after Darren? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I will be brief, but I just want to say a few words actually about the mayor. When I came to Washington, D.C., I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, as is my wife, Lynette, over there with the iPhone. And when I came here to go to Howard, I ended up getting my doctorate at Howard University. And when I first got here, the public schools were a bit of a punchline. If you even suggested that if you had young children and you were looking at schools and you were thinking about sending your child to a public school, and at that point, I don't think charters were even on the horizon, people kind of looked at you like, what? Are you sure? Or, are you going to move out to the burbs or think about private school? And I'm going into my second term. I'm vice chair of the Charter School Board, and I just want to say for the record, your leadership is going to be sorely, sorely missed. With this mayor, he's worked with us. A lot of folks probably still don't understand exactly what charter schools are all about. A lot of folks don't realize they're public schools just like the traditional schools. And during Mayor Gray's term, he's helped us get more funding for the schools. He's helped us increased the money we use to upkeep the facilities, and he's actually helped us have access to more empty DCPS buildings, so the quality of our facilities has improved tremendously during the time that we've worked with you. A little buzz there. We appreciate that. We still like a shot at some of those empty buildings that remain, but I think without that partnership, we would have had a hard time having some of the success that we have now. And I'll just end by recognizing my wife, who's also, as you said earlier, has supported me at many late charter meetings. She's worked in the DC public schools as well as charter schools, as well as UDC for that matter. And my two children are here. Dylan goes to E.O. Haynes Charter School, and my daughter Jasmine is 13, and she'll be starting this fall at Banneker. So we're really excited about that. So this is great. I'm looking forward to another 4 years, and hopefully we'll be able to work with you moving forward. So thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and I appreciate the confidence you've shown in me and by asking me to return to the UDC board. I greatly appreciate that. And on behalf of my two colleagues, I would want to thank you for the strong support that you have always shown for UDC. When you and I worked together when you were chair of the council, you were always there whenever UDC needed help and assistance, and we greatly appreciate that. We will not forget it. For me, on a personal note, quite honestly, when I was first asked to serve on the board at UDC by Mayor Williams, at that point I had a lot of things on my plate, and I was wondering if there was really the time to do this. But for me, it was a matter of personal commitment, because as most of you probably recall, when UDC was formed, they brought together Washington Technical Institute, Federal City College, and DC Teachers College to form UDC. Well, my mother and a number of aunts and uncles were graduates of DC Teachers College. So I felt that I would not be standing where I am today had it not been for the foundation that was laid there. So I felt that whatever time it was necessary to serve on this board, I would do that. And it has been an honor. It's been a pleasure. We still have work to do. In fact, we have 5 applicants for the CEO of the community college who we're interviewing this week. So we're moving very quickly on that. I know that's been a big priority for you. So we're confident that we're going to have the kind of university system, and I stress system, four-year institution and a community college that the citizens of the District of Columbia deserve. And we're going to do all we can to make that. And on one personal note, I would also like to put on my regional hat and thank the mayor for being in Reston on Saturday when we kicked off the Silver Line, which is another addition to our regional transportation system. And it is, in fact, a regional system. And we greatly appreciate the support that the mayor has shown for us through the Momentum Plan and other efforts. And I just want you to know, Mr. Mayor, that I took the Silver Line to come here for this swearing in. So I'm doing my part. So thank you very much.
And I took the Silver Line back to D.C. It was fun riding on the train. You know, there were people who had all kinds of buttons on, and there was one guy on there with his face was made up with all silver on it, and went a little further than I would have gone, but that's okay. Listen, I want to thank all of you all for coming out. I want to thank you for your service to the people of the District of Columbia, and I really don't think there's any substitute for this kind of service. It's absolutely desperately needed, and we've seen the benefits, those who spoke tonight and so many other folks who have worked hard to be able to make this city move forward in a constructive fashion. So thank you all very much for coming out, and enjoy the rest of your summer evening.